Hello, welcome back, everyone. Right, I'm sure you all saw I think he's done a couple of them now. Daniel Dubois, sort of when he broke his silence and came out and spoke to the world, spoke to the boxing press and all of us fans about the sort of much talked about illness before the Joe Joyce fight. So I'm just going to take another look at the first interview that he did. And the first interview he did was on a channel called Pod Lounge, which I thought was quite strange. It's a channel that has very few subscribers. And many of us talked about before this that everyone wanted to speak to Daniel Dubois. Why we got this silence? Is it because Daniel Dubois is not trusted in front of a camera to possibly stick to a narrative? This is what a lot of us speculated, just on the fact of how this played out and how there was a silence. Nonetheless, he came back on this channel, a channel I'd certainly never heard of before. I don't know if any of you guys had heard of this channel before or was aware of it, but nonetheless, this is where he made his first foray back into the public arena and speaking to the people. Now, you could be, what's the word? What's the word for? We could be, reading, is this part of the conspiracy? Was this an orchestrated interview, and we'll put him on this channel as the first sort of public connection he's going to have. This is a channel we're going to heavily monitor this interview. We're going to get scripts in place so that Daniel doesn't slip up in front of the camera. I'm antagonising a little bit here and sort of playing a little bit of devil's advocate. But let's just listen to what Daniel said. I don't know how the audio is going to come across this. I don't know if this video is going to get struck because I'm using this footage, but we'll go over it anyway. Let's just have a look and go over what he said. And let's sort of have a look and see what we think of this interview. So here we go.
Daniel Dubois, IBF World Champion. Listen, talk to me, man. It's been a minute. It's been a little while since we've seen you on social media. First of all, how are you? How's things?
I'm alright, man. Yeah, I'm alright. Looking forward to I'm alright.
Yeah. There's a lot of looking away and breaking eye contact, isn't there? A lot of, when he's talking, he looks away rather than directly at the person he's talking to. And sometimes this can be an indication of kind of a disingenuous sort of response, maybe, because you're not meeting the eye contact. Because, a lot of people do this in interviews with the police and stuff like that. When they look away, they don't want to meet eye contact. It's very much because maybe what they're saying isn't true. And again, I'm being, a bit of an antagonist, a bit of devil's advocate. But anyway.
Good. Okay, let's talk. I do want to rewind, go back to Riyadh. It was a hectic week for all involved. I was there. So I was part of the madness that happened on that Thursday. But talk to me on that Thursday. What happened from your point of view? We'd like to hear your events that happened on the day.
I think on the Thursday and Friday
I think on the Thursday and the Friday I got. Not this is what happened. I think on the Thursday and Friday.
I started getting ill, my glands swelled up, and my throat went. I started getting feverish. Just drained and tired. Really drained and tired. I can't even put it to work.
So there's a lot of overemphasis. Drained and tired. Very drained and tired. I can't put into words how drained and tired. So a lot of overemphasizing.
I was feeling drained and tired.
Drained and tired again.
Swelling up. And
glands were swelling up again.
We had the doctor come and look at us. We called the British Boxing Water Control doctor. I wanted to fight. I still wanted to fight.
I still wanted to fight.
Wanted to carry on and fight. But we had the doctor came and looked at me, spoke to Frank and all of those people, and then the doctor came and checked me out. And
so the doctor came and looked at me. Spoke to Frank, spoke to all of those, and then the doctor came and checked me out. The doctor came and looked at me. He spoke to Frank and all of those, and then the doctor came and checked me out. Didn't you say the doctors just come to look at you, spoke to Frank and all of those, and then the doctor came and checked me out? So he came twice? I don't know. Am I reading that wrong? Or is that what you said?
Yeah, he examined me and said, he said he wouldn't advise me to fight. He said, from the Friday and on the Thursday and then the Friday and Saturday in 2 days, it would be a lot worse. And, he just said, he wouldn't advise me to fight. And
Now, earlier on, he said the Thursday and the Friday, the gland started to swell up. The gland started to swell up. He started to get really, really tired, really, really tired. He said that, but now he's saying the doctor said to me I was going to get a lot worse over the Thursday and the Friday. The doctor told you were going to get a lot worse, or you did actually get a lot worse? Because previously you stated you got a lot worse over the Thursday and Friday. You got tired, the gland swelled up, and the doctor told you you're going to get a lot worse over the Thursday and Friday.
On the Thursday and then the Friday and Saturday, in 2 days, it'd be a lot worse. And, he just said,
Yeah, so the doctor told him it would be a lot worse. And earlier on, Daniel told us it was a lot worse.
he wouldn't invite me to fight. And yeah, I listened to the advice of the doctor, my dad, and my team, and I went, and they advised me not to go.
And again, there's very much a lot of looking over here. It's a lot easier to tell a story that isn't true for a lot of people who, when you're not looking someone in the eye. It's a lot easier to look away while you're telling a lie, because you're not then exactly telling that to the individual you're talking to. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm maybe antagonising the situation a little bit, but I don't know.
With the fight, I really wanted to go out and then put him to sleep. But
We're emphasising again, I really want to go out there and fight. I really want to go out and put us to sleep, as he said earlier. So an overemphasis on what you wanted to do.
Just to reiterate, as a fighter.
And then at the end, there's the shit happens, and there's a slight look of disgruntledness, slight look of annoyance at that.
It's an mentality that regardless of the situation that you're in, you wanted to fight, but you had a few good experience heads around you, Don Charles, you've obviously got your dad,
yeah,
but the doctors that told you that you couldn't do that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the interviewer says, you had your Don Charles around you, your dad, they're all telling you not to fight, and that's right. And Daniel says, yeah, that's right, yeah, that's it, you got it.
Yeah, still though, I want to run it back. If they can get that fight on, that's what I want. That's just the fight I want next. It's unfinished business, and it's like,
now that's the fight he wants next. He wants to run it back. I mean, you're not running it back, so it hasn't happened yet, but that's the fight you want next. And if we believe what we're sort of hearing, you're not actually fighting Parker next. You're fighting Usyk next.
Taste in my mouth, and yeah,
Leaves a bit of taste in his mouth. It leaves a bit of taste in your mouth. I don't know if I was ill and it kept me out of the fight, it would leave a bit of taste in my mouth. I'd be probably gutted. I'd be pissed off that the fight didn't go ahead. But I don't know if I'd describe it as leaving a bit of taste in my mouth. If I was genuinely ill, I don't know why that would leave a bit of taste in my mouth. I'd be gutted, but leave a bit of taste. Something that would leave a bit of taste in your mouth is something that's, a little bit untoward, a little bit of whatever. But if I was genuinely ill, would that leave a bit of taste in my mouth? Maybe he's talking about the glands.
Yeah.
Before we talk about future fights, there's notion coming out, there's a narrative playing out that there's no proof that you were obviously, and I don't want to name drop too many people because there's a lot of respect between a lot of people in the industry, but from Team Parker, and they did an interview and did mention that maybe it was a bit suspicious that talks about you and Usyk were happening straight after, and there was talks in the media that this fight between you and Usyk was happening. So you've got the right to respond. So in regards to that, for people that say there's a proof that you are ill, what's your right to respond in regards to that?
Yeah, I was 100% focused on that fight. I wanted to go out there and put him to sleep. So there was none of that.
Now, I don't doubt for a minute that Daniel was 100% focused on that fight. I don't doubt for a minute he wanted that fight. I don't doubt for a minute he's gutted it didn't go ahead. Ultimately, I don't really put the blame for any of this, if I'm honest, at Daniel's door. For me, Daniel Dubois is very much a person who is point and shoot. You tell him what to do and he goes and does it. That's when he's his most effective, when he's got clear instruction, rather than having to think for himself.
Well, we have the British Border Control. You can ask them and their doctor, and get the proof from them.
That, to me, is a sort of a red flag and an indicator. Not that I can show you this, I can prove to you that I was ill. It's very much, no, go and ask them, they'll tell you. They'll tell you. Go and ask them. If you don't believe me, go and ask them. Again, it's a bit of an overemphasis. To me, that's not very confident in the truth. Go and ask them to back it up. Go and ask them, they'll back up the story. They're the officials.
That's what happened. I'm not making any of this up.
I'm not making any of this up. I need to emphasise, I'm not making any of this up.
You know, I wanted to go out there and put to sleep, and you know, shit happens. And
I want to put him to sleep. Bash, shit happens. You got ill.
that's that. That's how I answer that question. But yeah,
Fair enough. Let's talk about opponents then, because it seems like, whilst you're sat in the background, still a lot of rumours flying about. So I'm going to bang up some names to you and just tell me where we're at and what's going on with that. Alexander Usyk's obviously the biggest name, and you called him out. He's said openly that he wants you as the next fight.
yeah.
Are we in talks with that? What's the latest with Usyk?
I want to fight. I want to fight more. I want to fight. And I say Parker. I want to fight Parker definitely, and hopefully Turkey can might hear this and make it happen in England, make it happen in Wembley or something. I want to fight. I definitely want to fight Parker. That's unfinished business for me, and yeah. And if not Parker, Usyk, or AJ, these are the guys I want next.
With Joseph Parker, it seems like obviously the belt's going to get fragmented and possibly the WBO gets pushed on, and Joseph Parker could become a champion in the way that obviously you became a champion through the IBF. Would it make it a bigger fight if Joe had a world title, or would you just want to go in there with Joseph Parker regardless of the situation?
Yeah, I see it as unfinished business a bit. For me, that's unfinished business.
Alexander Usyk, that's probably still one of the biggest fights yourself on Alexander. But can I ask you, with your team who are talking in the background, where are we? Or is it talks with both fighters right now, with Joseph and with Alexander?
Well, all I know is I'm going to be fighting in July. Well, that's what I've heard. I've heard that I'll be out in July.
All I know is I'm going to be fighting in July. That's what I've heard. Very much the opinion of a fighter that's not in control of his career. That's nothing new, is it? But it very much cements the fact that Dubois is very much controlled.
And there's a date in July for me. So, which one of them they're going to get from me? I don't know. I don't really care what it's what.
Now, which one of them they're going to get from me, I don't really know. I don't really care. Now, if you go back to earlier in the interview, I want Parker. I want Parker next. It's unfinished business. Left a bitter taste in my mouth. Now, I don't care. They'll tell me who it is. I don't care. So do you want Parker next, like you expressed, or do you not care? So there are inconsistencies that start to spring up in Daniel's sort of plea.
Want to put someone to sleep again and get back out there and show the people that, I am the man. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for everyone.
You spoke about Anthony Joshua, obviously still one of the biggest names in British boxing. If he doesn't fight you, which it seems like he's still recovering from an injury, where do you feel like he goes next? If you fight Alexander Usyk, you don't think Joseph Parker's a good fight for Anthony Joshua?
I think he's a good fight for me. I don't want to fight Parker.
Now you notice, now we're off that topic, we're talking about Anthony Joshua and stuff like that. So now, if we believe kind of the suspicions, so now we're off narrative. We're away from that narrative, effectively. And if you look now, the majority of Daniel's stare is on the interviewer. He will briefly look away, but the majority of now his eyes are focused on the interviewer. Now the majority is not where he's looking away from the interviewer, because we're off topic. We're off the touchy subject. We're off again, if you believe the suspicions, we're off the preformed narrative, and we're now on to stuff that's kind of unconnected and we can speak freely. And now he's meeting the interviewer's gaze more than he is looking away.
Like AJ, Usyk, these are the guys that I see I've got on my radar, on my these are the guys I want to fight. And make the fucking fight happen. That's all I got to say. Fucking fight happen.
Frank Warren was at TalkSport. And another name that sort of got bandied about with Derek Chisora in the future, possibly. He is going to be mandatory to put himself into a position. Is that something that tickles your fancy?
With Derek Chisora?
Derek Chisora.
Yeah, maybe.
And then he goes on to talk other stuff. But I don't know. I'm having a little bit of fun, semi-serious, playing a little bit of devil's advocate. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Interesting. There's a bit to talk about. I'll see you all soon.